All right, welcome Monkey Nation. This is going to be your sit rep for Wednesday. It's actually 2/2/22. And so coming to you at about 11 a.m. Central Time here from the great state of Texas. And so without further ado, let's hop on over there. By the way, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to those that support the channel. I know we have a great amount of subscribers, over 500,000, but I will tell you only 1% actually support us. So for those that support us, members, whether on Patreon or on YouTube, I just want to say thank you. We could not do it without you. So, all right, so let's get on over here to the sky glass, and we just kind of take a look at the sky, what's happening in terms of military aircraft up. I took away the mast right now. Evidently, this is what I'm hearing on the mast piece of it, is that the FAA updated their database. And evidently there's a lot of folks that now do not want to be tracked. Now, is it because we have so many people watching the skies? Maybe that has something to do with it. There has definitely been a large uptick in terms of people that are gaining interest in what's going on in the sky above us, what our military is up to in general. And so, all right, so over here on Skyglass, we're sitting, let me see what we've got. In terms of trainers, only about 23 trainers, and that's mostly right here in this general area, a little bit over here. C-135, that's going to be a spy bird that's just taken off. That's right here up in the center of the U.S. Then we've got two R-135s, actually 3 of them if that one's popping. Yeah, that is also. Okay, so Shiner 40 down here, kind of in the northeast corner of Louisiana. We've got one just rolling out, that's Cobra 28. Now, keep in mind, these are spy craft, okay? But some of them do have the capability to actually sniff the air for nukes, which I wasn't really aware of that. That kind of caught me by surprise. I'll show you an article here in a minute that kind of ties that up, but it's pretty interesting. Tanker-wise, mostly we got a lot of activity here over the Jacksonville area and, of course, the Northeast. We kind of expect that, but those are going to be your air refuelers. All right, let me back up on that. C-130 heavy lifts. You know, if you notice on the map, there is a bigger concentration, kind of like a soup bowl here. It's just kind of, you know, Mike and the boys. It's just tied around the southeast, and I think it has to do with the weather that's rolling through. We'll look at the weather piece of that here in just a second also as we get into this. But see if anything else catches my eye. Nothing really off the top here. At least from a Skyglass perspective. And so altitude-wise, you can see we do have some, that's one of the coolest things about this app is just having the ability to kick it up sideways and really kind of, you know, look at, you know, what's really moving out. Because when you're looking at it straight above, it's kind of hard to tell altitude. And you can't tell what's really kind of in transit versus just kind of hanging low, okay? Okay, let me back this up real fast. This is going to be our flat earth look here. This is the storm system currently moving through. Now, I know here in the DFW area, tomorrow is supposed to be pretty ugly. We got a lot of ice coming through, so hopefully we'll be able to maintain power. But this whole system is rolling in, going to be pushing through over the next couple of days across the map. So, but you can see that concentration, like I said, is just kind of like a little soup bowl. You know, you've got everything seems to be condensed in this general area. So get down low, you can see you got a lot of helo activity. These are going to be some H-60s. My understanding is there's quite a bit of C-130 activity down here too. I'm not really seeing too much of that on the map in the Panhandle. I do see 2 C-130s actively flying. We do have a P-8 that's coming out. Looks like he was just doing some touch and goes up here in Augusta. We do have one off the East Coast. Looks to be definitely looking for something now. They may be dropping and doing some comms with a sub that's out there. That could be a U.S. sub, actually. But those little tight circles like that, they'll usually drop that little boom out and do some uploads or downloads to the subs. So there's that. We do have a tanker out over the central area. Now, this is kind of interesting, that little tight turn. Looks like he's going to be hanging out in the area, so that would indicate we got some potential fighters up over Central Florida. And let's see, another tanker, a couple C-130s. I did see just a short minute ago, we had Shark 67, which is a C-130. That is kind of one we've seen pop in and out with troop support out of Guantanamo Bay. he was out here over the Caribbean area. I don't know if he hooked into Guantanamo Bay or not. If he did, then we probably got some more troops going in. We'll look at Guantanamo Bay here in just a minute, because that's kind of our daily check anyway. So, okay. Now let's break into flashbang, see what this dude is up to. Not really sure what this whole reignite cancer moonshot is, but anyway, it looks like they've got a little soiree going around 1:30 today, and then of course this whole thing, and they just will not let it go. I guess when you have nothing else really positive going on relative to the State of the Union, you got to have something to talk about. You definitely don't want to talk about the elephant in the room. So let's just keep everybody's eyes focused off of that, right? So, okay, over here to flight radar, we do have this one. This is actually E8 out doing some routes. Look like they were doing some look here over the Ukraine. That E8 is a pretty, as you can see from the picture, it's got that little doghouse on the bottom. But that will definitely get you a good look at the battlefield, all right? And so it looks like they were running a little route. If we get into some of the others, we got Brio. Again, almost every single day. This was yesterday, early morning and into the afternoon. So basically flew over that route the entire day. Poland here, Belarus here, and then this is Ukraine here. But you can see just running routes. Grabbing data. Like I said, I think this place is going to go hot here pretty soon. It's pretty interesting if you kind of know the background and history on the Ukraine and Zelensky. The previous president during Obama's term was very pro-Russia. And our agencies, basically went in and stirred things up like we always do. Now, if you don't know the history behind our election meddling, just kind of show you, we've had a couple coup attempts. We've U.S. backed down in Central and South America. But if you look at electoral interference by the U.S. from 1946 to 2000, we have gotten our hands into a lot of that. Ukraine was one of them. And so what happened was we basically assisted in a coup attempt that ousted that other president, and then we stood up Zelensky. Okay, and now Zelensky made some deals with Russia and the Ukraine and the UN. Sorry, not the Ukraine, the NATO. Okay, that he is not really upheld on any level, and so he keeps pushing. Don't think this guy is innocent by any means. He's made some strikes up here on the border with Russia that's made Putin pretty mad. Okay, and so Putin has responded by putting troops there, and of course, Putin is not comfortable with them being part of NATO. And so that is what this is all about. And of course, NATO is trying to flex their muscles. And keep in mind, too, that if you go back to this whole pay-to-play thing that we have talked about over and over, when all of this was going down and it was tied into the whole uranium one piece, there was an oil and gas pipeline that ran across, I think it was Belarus and some of the area. But we actually were trying to manipulate that. And the Clintons were very heavily involved in that. And so this is where it all kind of ties in. And so this is going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. Are we on the brink of World War III? Quite possible. You got a lot of things going on in the world. You've got Myanmar and the Philippines happening right now. You got unrest in Africa. We've had many coups going on since the end of last year into this year with those countries. And then, of course, you've got this whole European conflict that's about to heat up like a junkie spoon. And so we'll see. But we could really be on the brink of something here big. If China pops off with Taiwan, it looks like that will get us really going for a world war conflict. Okay, so doesn't mean everybody's going to go nuclear. However, I am going to show you some data points that are quite interesting. And I think something else is going on here in the U.S., okay? All right, now speaking of sniffers, and this is what I was just talking about, I did not know that this had the capability, but there is a WC-135 that the Air Force flies that is a nuke sniffer, and it arrived in the UK on the 30th, so just a couple days ago, okay? So are they worried about nukes? I think they are, and I'm actually hearing some rumbles here in the US, even from Flynn, that they think somebody may try to pop something off here domestically. And so remember the Club Ks, we've talked about those in the past. But let's get over here and look a little further. We've got Homer 71, that was 3 days ago. I just want to point this out. This is another active R-135 in the region. Black Sea here, Ukraine up here, really grabbing data. So that's Homer 71. Here's 61, also in the region. This was 4 days ago. Also Black Sea running routes, okay? So very active in terms of our recon over in that general area, all right? Now, we've been watching the UK and the movements of their troops, and this one kind of threw me for a loop because we've got some UK stuff coming across the drink into Belize. And if you were thinking this is Europe and we're getting hot and UK's got a big interest, what in the world are they doing parking people down here in Belize? Makes you kind of wonder, is Putin putting some moves down here in Venezuela? Is that why we had the sniffer come through and not the sniffer, but the R-135 running routes in this general area? Quite possibly. So, but that is the UK troop movement stuff going on right now. You can see we've got a couple destinations here unknown, except for this one, which is Belize. You don't really see them put destinations up very often. Okay, camber flights, we got 3 of them active. I'm going to back up just a little bit so we can get the world map on here. But this one, now there's something else going on and I'm not really sure. We've had several days now. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting for my ride to arrive. Ordered it 6 months ago and I don't have the ability to get up to Fort Worth Alliance, but I am going to do that as soon as I have a chance. But we've had 2 days in a row now, this Washington flight coming in, camber flight 767-200, coming out of Washington, D.C. into Fort Worth Alliance. I think that's what we have going here again. And then this is just one that's out over Europe. And so, but normally, again, they don't really show destinations, okay? But that would be troop movement. So what in the world is going on at Fort Worth Alliance? Not 100%, but I am going to personally get eyes on and watch the next time one of these land so I can see what gets off, okay? All right, now here's the Omni flights. Again, these are pretty big troop movers as well. You can see this one's rolling out, headed to Tokyo, and the other one here coming inbound from Ireland into Cherry Point, which would be Marine Corps, okay? Now, are they bringing them home, taking them out? I don't know, but these are definitely troop movers, okay? So let's get over here to Pope. Army Airfield. Now, this is the other one I'm watching because we've had a lot of activity. Keep in mind, this is Fort Bragg. And so a lot of stuff moving from Biggs Army Airfield to Pope. Now, what is it? I don't know. But it should be a little concerning because if it's immigrants going from base to base, are we training them? Okay. If it's not immigrants, we are moving around a lot of U.S. military inside the continental U.S. right now. A lot. Okay. And so my feel, I don't know if we've got some missile defense systems going into play in these locations and we're putting in ground support troop assets or what, but give you kind of an idea. This is your arrivals. This is going to be national cargo. Again, this is not flying cargo. More than likely, that's going to be troops coming in from Biggs. All right. Now, remember, Biggs is a RD place. It's a tank battalion place, and it also has military police as well as missile defense systems. Okay. All right. Now, note this one's rolling out of Fort Bragg down to Orlando. Okay. So we got to keep eyes on that. This is a little NASA bird. I don't know what that was doing in there coming out of Edwards, but looks to be a little G3, Gulfstream G3. So that's Pope. All right. Now let's get over here to Biggs and see what we got going on here. Arrivals coming in, Fort Smith. Okay. Arkansas. Then we've got these Sun Countries coming back in from Minneapolis, 737-800s. I don't know if those are poppies or what we've got, but it looks like it turns right back around and goes back to Minneapolis twice, all right? This Eastern Airlines looks to be headed up to Fargo, North Dakota. Again, That, I don't know. That could be, that's a big bird. 767 is a large aircraft. So are we moving some missile defense systems? These systems wouldn't be on there. These would be the troops supporting the systems. Those systems would be moved out either by tractor trailer, train, or C-17s, etc. But I haven't seen the C-17 activity coming out of Biggs to support that. So not really sure. But again, we'll just keep our eye on it. These are all data points. Somebody from a crowdsourcing standpoint will have their ear to the ground. I guarantee it. And they will know exactly what's going on, and I'll get a drop, and we'll find out. Okay, eventually, it happens to hit on somebody's radar. Okay, let's get over here to Kiev real fast. Just want to show you this airport's still pretty hot. Don't see anything changing just yet. As long as we're seeing this kind of activity, that would be an indicator that we don't have anything going on, or at least some intel that would indicate Russia is on the move quite yet. Okay, when this board goes clear, that means we're probably on the brink, if not fully engaged in combat. Okay, we get over to the marine traffic. The one thing I want to point out, now this is the Black Sea. The other day I was looking at these black lines. I was like, yeah, this is a waterway. That's not it. The waterways are in here. There's a waterway in here. Typically I will see and there's water in here. Okay, typically I'll see these boats on the move all the way up into the heart of Ukraine. I'm not seeing that at all. They seem to be parked kind of inbound where they can get out pretty quickly. One thing I am noticing though right now is that these red boats are tankers, oil tankers. Okay, the green are cargo. I'm seeing a big increase in oil tankers right now in the region. So I think that's because they know they're going to be cut off and they want to have some reserves backed up to keep them going. Okay, so just a data point, but you know, it's amazing what you can get from these apps these days, and just through observation, you know, to watch this. So okay, there's that. Now the other day I was talking about these guys. I want to point this out because this is very, very concerning. I don't want us to lose sight of it. We've had a fear that this was going on. I do want to point out too that look at these guys. I don't see, I mean, just at first glance, I don't see a bunch of 50-year-old dudes like me. Okay, I see some young, all male guys lined up. All right, and so are we moving assets as a backup? Right? Think about this. If your military doesn't take direct orders because they're going against U.S. citizens, what are you going to do? You're going to take these guys because they don't care about us. All right? And so that is the concern. And when I see these flights by Swift Air bouncing around, you get them coming down here into South America, and a lot of flights up here across our states, I'm beginning to wonder if we aren't separating the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, right? Are we taking selectively males, pushing everybody else out, and these guys are basically being rounded up to do the service that our soldiers won't do? I don't know, but when we had 1.7 million people come across our border, and 60% of those were single individuals, not families, it does make you definitely stand up and pay attention, especially when you're looking at this map. Somewhere, if this is going on somewhere within our system, these guys are being trained. They're running them through basic. What's really scary is the fact that we don't hear anything, which means our military guys are probably involved in it and not saying a word, probably because they don't know or understand exactly what's taking shape. They've probably been given orders to do training, and they're just running them through. The reason I say that, if you remember Camp Arterbury, the other day when they started letting out the last of the poppies from their camp location, there were a lot of military folks blowing kisses and waving at the buses, all right? Not a clue at what is really going on and what that precedence is setting. So, all right, there is that. Now, this is going to be the World Atlantic Airways. I just want to show you, this is the second flight today coming out of Central America. One of the things I want to point out, this World Airways, I do believe, as I've been saying in the past, U.S. Marshal Service. They're bringing them out of McAllen. These are probably bad dudes, okay? These are guys that are showing up that aren't going to make the cut, so to speak, right? When I talk about this, separating the wheat from the chaff, or chaff, sorry. So anyway, this I do believe is Bureau of Prisons. These are taking guys back out of the country, deporting them, all right? Okay, so let's see here. This is going to be our DOJ/FBI bird, all right, N721AL. Just want to point out, we were looking at it the other day. I told you it landed, did a little touch and go in Wichita, Kansas. However, it doesn't show that stop on here anymore. What I do see is it going to Albuquerque, New Mexico, all right? Since then, the plane has come back, and it looks like it was doing some maintenance checks. If I look at the flights, they're just kind of repositioning the asset. Look like it's coming back up here. But it was down to Richmond, Virginia, up to D.C. But if you look at some of the flights, they're just basically flying around. That's usually indication that they probably had some kind of maintenance light or something come on that got checked out, and they had to basically do a quick flight check to make sure it was good with the plane back in service. So the team that we're looking at in New Mexico is still there, all right? Okay, now let's get our C202. We were looking at this dude in Paris. Looks like he has now moved over to Italy. And so that landed. Now this is your Secretary of Homeland Security. What is he doing in Italy? No idea, but we'll continue to pay attention to them because that is a pretty good indicator when he is on the move and doing things. We start to see these flights that coincide, at least domestically, with his arrivals at places like Fayetteville, right? Pope Army Airfield. Okay, now let's get over to Guantanamo Bay. We don't want to lose sight of this. This is actually very quiet. We do have one that just left, a 757-200, back up to Jacksonville. That's Air Transport International. Don't know what it was doing, but if we get over here to the board and take a look, you will see there are no hearings going on until the 28th of this month. Don't know who that dude is, Incept, but I'm sure we could probably find out. But the rest of these guys have been canceled. That took place in January as well. So the board has been clear, but we've still seen quite a bit of flight activity. Is it tied to human trafficking? That was my intel source, told me that. More than likely, I was told up until the 15th there was nothing going to be going on. It looks like they have extended that out to the 22nd, all right? Okay, now let's get over here real fast. Just take a look at the stuff that's coming inbound. This is another Falcon 9 debris. Supposed to be coming in today around 2:20. It's going to start plus or minus 4 hours, start re-entry. So no telling where this thing will end up dropping, but that's the latest on there. That is on SatFlare, so if you want to go look at what's coming in, and eventually something's going to come overhead, right? We'll be able to see probably a pretty cool little light show, okay? All right, now this is going to be your NASA bird. We'll kind of get into this one. You guys can see only one aircraft up right now from a NASA perspective. That's going to be a little Beech King Air 350. This is one of those that's just doing some surveillance, I would imagine. And you can see the little area they're over, just kind of east of Sioux City, all right? Okay, let's get over here. I do want to pull up real fast my radar. Just kind of give you an idea. That white line going across is International Space Station. But if we look at Flashbang and what that dude is up to, these are going to be your new TFRs. You can see this is all coming across. These are all alerts, winter storm warnings, all these pink boxes, okay? So it looks like Flashbang is headed to New York. We do have something going on right here in the middle of this. And another VIP, so he's also on the move here somewhere within the brown zone, okay? That red circle is permanent. This is going to be space operations. This may be tied to the police officers just got shot in a funeral or something. I don't know. It's not on his calendar if we look at it, you know, as we did look at it earlier. Not on there, so he may be headed out on another day. But anyway, that's where he's headed. Don't know what it's tied to. Don't really care. Just want to point that out. But and then this is space operations out here in O-Town, or sorry, not O-Town, but east of O-Town. It's Cape Canaveral. All right. The border stuff looking normal. This is an air show. Don't know what that's all about on the border, evidently. Beale Air Force Base. These are power outages out here. All right. And so, okay, that's going to be our TFRs for today. Let me get us back over here to the flat map real fast and see if we got anything else going on. Now, it looks like our air refueler did a couple little circles. And then headed northbound. So it doesn't look like he's probably just chilling out, hanging out for a new assignment. Don't know what that is right there at 20,000 feet. Looks like a fighter, but I don't have time to look at the hex code. Could be a P8. They do that too sometimes. And a couple more air refuelers. They're headed southbound. And there is that. These are trainers out here. They look like lawn darts, literally. All right. As you can see, just a sloppy mess here. Not a lot of people flying trainer flights right now. You got some stuff going down in Corpus Christi. And then these are going to be intel birds coming back in and out of the state. Now remember, Albuquerque, New Mexico, this is where the FBI, DOJ guys are located currently. So a couple C-130s headed north. And other than that, we did see a little burst just after our last sit rep the other day, a couple C-17s coupled with fighters coming out of Seattle area. So this is going to be our R-135 running its little route. Kind of a normal area where they fly in and out of. And so, again, that's a spy bird. Don't know what is in this general area for them to do that. But there is that. Okay. All right, listen, that is going to be it for today. Again, we'll keep our eyes on the UK and on Ukraine and Russia and all of Europe as things continue to evolve. I'm pretty sure we're going to see something go hot here pretty soon. I think we're at a stale point with NATO and Russia and the US. They're not really making any headway. And so I think you've backed Putin into a corner, and I believe he's probably going to show the world that ain't nobody puts baby in the corner, right? And so, all right, listen, you guys be safe out there. Keep your powder dry and stay frosty. All right, God bless. Monkey out.
Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworksus.com.